I was hoping.
Are we ready? What are we? Okay, go live.
We're already
Looks
live.
like this broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Trying to create.
You're live, Al.
Am I live? Because
You're
I'm
live.
getting killed here. I can't see. All right. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, fun cold open already. John Smith dropped his computer. I'm getting messages. Unfortunately, Blackjack Bobby and the Blackjack Media Networks, they might not be receiving this broadcast as we speak, but we are live. And as I was mentioning in pre-production, I really couldn't think of anything in the shower today. I was in the shower around like 2:45, 3 o'clock to get myself, camera ready. This just doesn't happen on its own. Making sure all my crevasses are washed nice and clean. Didn't have anything today. So I did mention last week, this is episode 56. So let's celebrate the main event, the WrestleMania 11, and probably the greatest linebacker in football history, Gary's favorite football player, Lawrence Taylor. Here we are at the beginning of WrestleMania 11, the stare down between LT and Jersey's own Ice Pie Jersey guy, Bam Bam Bigelow. As you can see, they look like they had a lot of fun in this match. I guess Bam Bam took LT for a ride, or maybe that is a bulldog. I have absolutely no idea. But then I do believe it was the flying shoulder block or a clothesline or something off the second turnbuckle. I believe is how this match ended. We did not cover this during WrestleMania week for obvious reasons. This was not really a WrestleMania to ride home about. But maybe next year during WrestleMania season, Ryan, I will put you through the torture of having to watch and discuss WrestleMania 11 with me. So that'll be probably the lowest viewed show of all time.
I was going to say that this rounds out our coverage of WrestleMania 11.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 56 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast, powered, as always, by our good friends at the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power. I'm on my last power cup of water before I switch to something that tastes like cardboard. So you see my face twinge a little bit later on in the show. When you take the sugar out of things, it kind of takes the fun out of it. Full screen today to go over AEW Double or Nothing. But before we get started, let's introduce our panel. Below me, as always, the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are you?
All right. Good to be back with you, as always. Big number 56. Good times.
Always a good time. To his, I guess, right on the screen, to the left, I guess my hand's going, whatever. A little known fact, John Smith, I really didn't know this. You're Mike Maida's cousin?
I am Mike Maida's cousin. Tell everyone you know.
Yeah, tell everyone Mike Maida's cousin. I didn't realize there was that connection.
Carbondale, Pennsylvania.
John Smith, you're in a new studio. This is your new home, I guess, for the time being. How are things?
Yeah, this is a temporary studio. My desk broke while moving it in, so I don't have my computer set up. So I'm just my PC. I'm using my laptop computer at my son's desk right now. So hopefully next week I'll have myself a desk and I'll be all set up with my normal setup and maybe I'll have some things hanging behind me like you guys do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's flair. We learned that from Office Space, right? You need the flair. You can't have the minimal amount of flair. Like Jennifer Aniston did. You need to go overboard. Ryan, you need some more flair. I know your southern office down on the Treasure Coast of the beautiful Sunshine State has a lot of flair in the background. I guess some of it didn't make that trip up to Studio B up north.
Yeah, no, just the one item here and the Drew McIntyre book, which came in the mail. So. We'll see. I have a bunch of stuff over there I could put up, I guess, or send to John Smith.
Either or, right? It's a shorter chamber. We are live. James Wheeler back in the house. James Wheeler, I want you to do me a favor today. Your homework assignment today. When you comment at some point, just let us know if you're the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool and what your name is. We're kind of trying. We have a theory here. Just want to make sure you can confirm some stuff for us. On today's episode, Karrion Kross got title defense number 1 finally in his second title reign Finally got title defense number 1 under his belt. No pun intended. Pun half intended. Drew McIntyre will challenge for the WWE Championship at Hell in a Cell. Moose and Sami Callihan just can't get along in Impact's main event. Gary Mehaffy is back with us to discuss NXT UK and the upcoming rematch between Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. I'm excited for that one. Ryan Joy on screen with us right now from minutestobelltime.com. Forgot to shoot off your website. I apologize about that. You're going to be coming up right after this segment to talk NJPW Dominion and the vacant IWGP, World Championship, and that will be decided at the minute, so we'll look forward to that. We're going to make more picks for this week's upcoming shows, presented the graphics and statistics, always presented by minutestobelltime.com. And, of course, the picks are always sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. We're going to main event the show with 2 huge championship matches this Friday night on SmackDown, but we're going to curtain jerk the show with All Elite Wrestling's biggest event of the calendar year, Double or Nothing, and Kenny by God, Omega. Ryan Joy, 2 challengers in front of him. He did not want to face them at the same time. He was petitioning all week to have Orange Cassidy step aside for the pay-per-view and then fight him at a later date. That didn't happen. And what a match. Absolutely incredible match.
Yeah, it was incredible. Eventually, Aubrey Edwards had to come down. There was multiple referees. Pac hit his finisher. Orange hit his finisher. Eventually, Omega actually reversed an Orange Cassidy pin into a crucifix to get the win. So, still our AEW, Impact, TNA, and AAA World Champion Kenny by God, better than Gotch, better than Hackenschmidt, better than Gagne, the other Gagne, Flair, Hogan, Sting, Savage, Steamboat, AJ Styles.
See, all right, we'll stop you right there. I'm going to try to cut you off. I was going to keep going for a while, and I was going to let John Smith chime in at the end. But Ryan, so Kenny Omega got it done. We know he's got Moose coming up next weekend, and against all odds for the Impact World Championship. His next challenger for the AEW Championship. Little bit of a shock here. It came down to like all of our picks. We all had Christian Cage for the most part. Jungle Boy got it done though.
It's weird. You look at the whole lineup. Jungle Boy was listed right from the very beginning. We all knew he was going to be in there. We all looked at all the participants, and we all made our educated guesses, and we were all wrong. And there's really no reason for that because Jungle Boy, it's not like he has had a minor push or anything. He's been kind of top of the picture the whole time. We should have known that Jungle Boy would be in that position, and it turned out that he was, and it came down to Matt Hardy, Christian Cage, and Jungle Boy. Matt Hardy went out first, followed by Christian Cage. Jungle Boy is your winner. He gets Kenny Omega in 2 weeks, so that'll be the next title defense from Kenny by God Omega.
Yeah, and All Elite Wrestling, but then he's got Moose and Impact, and I failed to mention, he's got Andrade down in Mexico at some point. I think that's in August, though.
August, yep.
So he's got a full plate, and I guess when you're a champion of that many organizations, you're going to have a full plate.
Before we move off that, we got to say Leo Rush.
Yeah, Leo Rush, the Joker. That's, you know what, a lot of people, and I think we kind of covered this pretty well on our end, and it's like, AEW is good with these question marks. I will give them all the credit in the world. It's always somebody cool. If it's somebody big, like what Christian was, he wasn't a question mark in a match, but it was, he got leaked.
Yep.
Matt Sydal last year was the Joker. Pretty cool, but it's just it's not enough. It's somebody cool, but it wasn't enough. Somebody big enough to the point where it's going to be Kenny by God's next challenger. So yeah, nice. I screamed. I think I threw my hat at the TV, John Smith. I think I threw my hat somewhere when Christian lost. But he did extend his hand in respect.
He's a poor man. That was just a poor man's Leon Ruff, though.
Yeah, Leo Rush is a poor man's Leon Ruff. Exactly. That's why.
I don't know.
So, Coming out of the Casino Battle Royal, though, real quick, first match we're going to pick today, Brian Joy will just stay with you. Dustin Rhodes and Nick Camarado. Camarado got him pretty hard. I think no, it was the other way around. One got the other with the bull rope, with the cowbell. I ran for dinner. I was wrong. But they're going to have a bull rope match this Wednesday night.
So Dustin brought the bull rope to the ring. Nick Camarado used it. Fun fact, Dustin Rhodes is undefeated in bull rope matches. Now, I don't know how many he's had, but he made sure to mention that on Dark last night, that he's undefeated in bull rope matches. But I think that ends. I think Nick Camarado is going to go over here.
All right, now I think we said I said Wednesday. Is basketball on? Is it Friday?
It's Friday.
All right, John DeConnie. This Friday night we have a bull rope match.
Yeah, it makes sense to put over. They're trying this whole factory versus Nightmare Family thing is to get over some new young guys. So it would make sense for Camarado here to take Dustin down for the very first time in a bull rope match.
All right, John Smith.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with Camarado. We're going to see a lot of blood, though, either way.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where they hide the blades, right? In the cowbell, right?
Dustin loves to bleed. He loves to bleed.
Yes, he does. John DeConnie, we took a trip down memory lane in pre-production way back in episode 4, where yourself and John Smith, you guys made your Central Wrestling Podcast debuts, and the first topic we discussed was last year's Stadium Stampede. I believe we let it go to the point where rumors were flying around that they're going to do this every year. And what was your quote?
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, dear God, quit while you're ahead. So now, looking back at it, 365 later, how did they do on Sunday night?
Yeah, not bad. And of course you worried about it because they took last year. There was a lot of there was different segments. Everyone got their own area. They all started in the middle. They all got their own area of the building to go to, and you were like, all right, well, what are you going to do next? Well, they had all the answers because once again, they managed to, put everybody in a different part of the building after, the intros. We had the white limo pulls in, MJF gets out, Inner Circle repels from the damn scoreboard as Judas is playing. That's awesome. They chase towards the limo. MJF jumps back in. Presumably all of Pinnacle's in there, but we were incorrect in assuming that because the FTR Classic pickup pulls in. They're all in there, and everybody starts to dance right then and there. We get Sammy and Spears start in the ring at the 50-yard line, and after a good couple of minutes, MJF finally sticks his cowardly head out of the limo, and Jericho's waiting right there for him, chases him all the way into the guts of the building. Yeah, the repelling was, I don't know if anybody else, but I was holding my breath. We're not too far removed from the anniversary of Owen, so that was a little touchy situation, but it all worked out. So we had Jericho chase MJF into the guts of the building. They fight into Urban Meyer's office, which was a great spot. We got to see the coach. He even handed over his laptop for Jericho to bust over MJF's head. Then we had Hager and Wardlow fighting into a freezer. Hager almost got stabbed with an icicle. Spears was sitting in his own chairman room surrounded by chairs. Him and Sammy, Sammy did some fantastic acrobatic work in that room and outside in the hallway. Then we get to Santana and Ortiz eventually finding their way into what was eerily reminiscent of the Blue Oyster Bar, finding FTR and Tully hanging out. But it wasn't because, on the turntables, we had Conan, so that was nice. We had a little brawl there in the bar or nightclub, whatever you want to call it, that eventually ended up in an elevator. Back to Wardlow and Hager. Hager choke slams. They wind up on the top of a golf cart. Hager choke slams Wardlow through a wooden set of shelves. Jericho and MJF wind up in a boardroom next. There's a hammer. There's a pile driver on the desk. Floyd makes an appearance, and they do a perfectly timed. I mean, Jericho swung that at MJF's head. Now, obviously, because we heard the connection, I guess I'm assuming MJF got the hammer that he was wielding just a few seconds earlier up to block that shot. But the Foley work was perfect if that wasn't genuine, because it certainly sounded like he cracked MJF's skull. MJF winds up going through plate glass window. And then we get back to Spears in the bowels of the building. He gets chased by some motorcycles. He eventually gets chased by Sammy, who this time is in the golf cart. He gets to turn that around for the first time in his career. And they wind up brawling all the way back into Daly's place. They're back in the ring. Spears delivers a couple brutal chair shots. Sammy kind of turns it around on him. He hits basically a wicked stepsister into a chair that's jacked up in the corner between two turnbuckles, and then hits a beautiful 630 senton on Sean Spears to get the 1-2-3 right in front of the Daly's Place crowd. And the Inner Circle takes Stadium Stampede Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo, exactly. It's fun how Sammy got the win here because he was the one that surrendered right during Blood and Guts. So full circle with Sammy. I think I don't think he was ever in the doghouse for surrendering, trying to save Jericho. But he got it back. He got it back, and the Inner Circle is allowed to proceed forward. So congratulations. I'm sure they'll have some type of celebration. The celebration, bitches, on Friday night. There is going to be a celebration, the one that we do know, Ryan Joy, and that is we have a new AEW Women's Champion. The Good Doctor did not disappoint us.
No, and this match with Sheeta, that match could have ended at any point. There was they hit all the finishers. They hit the running knee strike. Reba was there. Reba, not Rebel, with the crutch. There were all kinds of things, all kinds of points where we thought the match was going to end. But ultimately, it came down to Britt Baker using her submission. She used the lockjaw to get a submission victory over Sheeta. And you got to feel bad for Sheeta because she's got a very long run. She never had she didn't get to win in front of fans. She didn't have a defense in front of fans. Extremely long run, punctuated at the first big show with a full crowd with a loss to Britt Baker.
Yeah, like I said, we have, there it is. The celebration, the DMD celebration will be on Friday night. Yeah, hell of a run by Hikaru Shida. We were all happy. We were waiting for her to get it. And then the minute she got it, it's like, okay, when does Britt Baker take it from her? And it was a full year. They made Britt Baker run through all those hoops. The sinus fractures and the Thunder Rosa feud and all of the wheelchair and Tony Schiavone and everything was in her way. And 365 later, we have it done. She is now the 4th ever AEW Women's Champion. That's in this company's short history.
And Thunder Rosa called Britt Baker out last night on Dark as well. So that issue is not resolved.
Yeah, no, it was it's not going to be resolved at all. Or it wasn't. Yeah, they're going to keep going with that until Camille beats her, right? And then she's not allowed to. Are they going to have that rematch?
It's Camille versus Serena Deeb this weekend at the NWA pay-per-view.
Okay. John Smith, that was the one title, the women's title we thought was going to change hands. Most of us had the tag team titles changing hands. Me specifically, like Moxley, I think I said it, quote unquote, he could beat the Bucks by himself, and I could not have been more wrong. I think the Bucks heard me.
Yeah, I blame this one on Eddie Kingston. Moxley, even though Moxley or Eddie's probably my favorite guy in there, but in AEW. But Moxley is leaps and bounds ahead of him, and he just couldn't get it done against the Bucks. I don't agree with the decision to have Moxley lose clean like that, even if it was to double team by the Bucks. But we thought this was going to be the opening match. Because start the crowd off high with a title change, but when they were the second match, I knew right away that they were not coming out with these titles, unfortunately. And they put on a great match in the interim. They got off to an early start with beating the crap out of the Bucks right away. They got the crowd involved doing the wild thing. Another reason why I thought that they weren't going to win anymore, because they did way too much crowd hyping before the match when they could have done it after their win. But overall, I can't complain about the match. I just wish the winner was different.
Yeah, and we're going right into Friday night, John Smith. We're going to stay with you because the Bucks are right back at it. They're going against the Death Triangle. You got Pac, the no good, dirty bastard Pac, and your best friend, Pentos Del Miedo. Ryan Joy, I do not know. This is not a tag title match, right? That would be labeled.
Yeah, as far as I know, it is not for the tag team titles.
All right, so we have a non-title match here, potential championship eliminator, John Smith.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's what they're going to call it. So, you know what? Give me Pac and my best friend Penta, because it'll be kind of like a consolation for Pac for not winning the title.
Yeah, I'm gonna with them too. And Penta looked pretty awesome. He won Joker style, John DeConnie, in the Casino Battle Royal.
Yeah, his ring gear was pretty awesome. You know what? Especially if it is not a title match, then definitely give me 2/3 of the Death Triangle there, so that therefore they will earn a title match, and we get to see this goodness twice.
There you go, Ryan Joy.
Yeah, and I'm frantically scrolling to see if I can figure out if it is a title match. I don't think it is, which is why I didn't label it as such.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pick the Bucks because they're undefeated, and I don't see them dropping a loss unless it's for the titles.
Yeah, I don't. Is that I'm just going. I'm a huge Penta guy. That's the only reason why I'm going for him. I like Pac too, and it's not a shot against the Bucks either. But usually, this is not WWE. Like the champions usually win these types of matches, like these eliminator matches. 9 times out of 10. I can't remember any time, in a non-title match the champions lost. So that's just me throwing that out there. I could be wrong. John Smith, back to you, the TNT champion. Game over.
And he won it on Rusev Day.
And he won. It was Rusev Day weekend. Yeah,
Rusev weekend. Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from this match is that Lance Archer needs to go back to being a dastardly heel, because he just lacks that intensity that he had about a year ago that we were seeing when he was fighting Cody for the TNT title and whatnot. I expected a Sheamus and Drew McIntyre style of just, destroying each other and, marks all over their bodies, didn't even need any weapons, but it was kind of one-sided when it comes down to it. And Miro bends Lance Archer backwards and, makes him pass out. And that was that.
Yeah, done and done. And speaking of Cody Rhodes killing a guy's momentum, Anthony Ogogo can't get out of the gates either. He took a vertebreaker by Cody Rhodes. And Cody got the win on that. Weird having a vertebreaker. You don't really see that all too often. It's kind of a dangerous move. Coming up on Friday night, Ryan Joy, you got Cody. He's teaming up with Lee Johnson in a match. I guess that is the Nightmare Family going against the Factories, QT Marshall, and Anthony Ogogo in that match again. So maybe Ogogo can get something going in this match that Cody would not let him get at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, poor Lee Johnson. He is there to take that pin, if it's even a pin and not a referee stop. Lee Johnson's going to lose this match.
All right, John DeConnie.
Yeah, assuming that Cody sticks with his one night only and he doesn't come out as Stardust and Stripes again, I assume that this is to put the Factory over.
Stardust and Stripes. Touche, John DeConnie. Touche. John Smith, who do you got?
Ogogo's going to win. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? John DeConnie, the first in-ring action, first thing in 6 years. Did he still have it? I was hearing rumors around Daly's place that he still had it.
Yeah, I would say that all 5,000 or so in attendance fully agreed that you still got it. So, he even ripped off the T-shirt so we could see. He still had the singlet on, but we could still see that the man's in pretty damn good shape for his age. And he started off, one of the very early on in the match, taking basically a stage dive onto his two opponents. So we saw he was getting around very well. I did not see it coming. I wasn't even sure that we'd get a live action Sting match before this one was announced, but he did not embarrass himself. So good on the Icon. Darby took a lot. He got isolated in the ring once they got back in the ring and things got underway proper. Darby got isolated. Sting got a hot tag at one point, but Aubrey didn't see it, so he was back out. And Darby took a little bit more of a beating. Then eventually Darby would get his, I'm getting my comeback tumbling stunner that allowed him to tag the Stinger in. Sting hit a code red in this match.
Yeah.
So, if you had any worries about whether or not the old man could still go, that was certainly something you didn't expect to see coming into this match.
I mean, Bad Bunny.
Eventually, how did we end this here? Yeah, the Scorpio Sky was attempting a slingshot cutter. Stinger kind of stopped it and hit him with the Scorpion Death Drop for the 1-2-3.
Yeah, Scorpion Death Drop. You don't see that. He was always using the Scorpion Death Drop for a long time. You don't see him. He didn't really win a lot of two matches towards the end of his career with the Death Drop. So that was nice little Adam touch. Another match as the show began with Adam Page defeating Brian Cage. After Cage, he refused help from Team Taz. Starks came down with the FTW. Like, here you go, cheat to win. Cage didn't want to do it, so he turned around, took a buckshot lariat for the distraction and the loss. So we're looking at some dissension once again in Team Taz on Friday night. And then on the buy-in, Serena Deeb defeated Riho with the Serenity Lock in a very, very, very good match. That was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that match thoroughly on the buy-in to retain the NWA Women's Championship. So here we are overall on the Essential Wrestling Podcast Pool. John Smith still in first place. John DeConnie, 100-point show. He jumped. He surpassed me. I went 7-3. Travis with an 8-2. He threw up 100 points. Brian Joyce 7-3. Gary stumbled a little bit on this one. And these were some major points, but he didn't stumble enough to the point where Tyler was able to pass him. So, and then here are our AEW only standing shows. 2 shows counted between this show and Blood and Guts. John DeConnie is now your leader with that. So, for that point, guys, we will, John Smith, John DeConnie, we will bid you adieu. That is the first place. That's going to be your first place belt going forward.
You know it.
Okay, so we are going to bid you adieu for a little bit. We're going to stay with Ryan Joy in the time being because we actually have a very big weekend coming up in New Japan. Now, I guess, Ryan, if you want to fill us in, last we checked off, I know you covered New Japan a lot on the Daily Wrestling News Show, specifically on Tuesdays with Travis. I know today it was a lot about the play-by-play announcers, but we have a big show coming up at the Minion. We do not have an IWPG heavyweight champion. I think I got the letters wrong again because Will Ospreay got hurt. So what is their solution?
Well, I'll help you for one. It's International Wrestling Grand Prix, IWGP.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And honestly, I probably would have guessed that if he gave me a multiple choice. But Ryan, I stumbled over. I was calling Stadium Stampede Spring Stampede all last week. It's just my mind goes one way, my mouth goes another, and sometimes, I just get myself in trouble. So
here's the situation. Will Ospreay has, I guess we can just call it a broken neck, right? He's got a big neck injury. It is a bone injury. He potentially has a lower back injury as well. So he is out, and as a result, he vacated the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship a couple of weeks ago. He suffered the injury in his May 4th match with Shingo Takagi. He was scheduled to wrestle Kazuchika Okada at the end of May. However, all of those events got canceled because the pandemic had a flare-up in Japan. They've instituted additional restrictions, including weekend restrictions, weekend and evening restrictions, which are causing Dominion, which was supposed to be June 6th, to actually be June 7th. So we have Dominion on Monday instead of on Sunday this coming week, I guess. And they decided that what they're going to do to determine the next champion, they're going to take the last challenger for Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi, and he's going to wrestle then who was supposed to be the next challenger, Kazuchika Okada. They're going to wrestle a match at Dominion. It'll be the Dominion main event. Winner is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. It'll be the third champion of the new belt, the new butterfly-looking belt. And I will say, if Shingo Takagi wins this match, he will be the third world champion and the third new world or new heavyweight champion this year in New Japan. Because Ibushi was new, Ospreay is new, and Shingo will be new. So...
So I'm going to go Shingo Takagi. Takagi. That's it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He's Lij. I'm always going to go with Lij guy now. But is this the case? Okay, you can put it on somebody new and keep going, or is this one of those things like, in case of emergency, break glass, and here comes Okada? That's another way I'm kind of looking at this.
Yeah, I kind of think Okada, and I'll say that just to kind of be contrarian. Travis has called Shingo for a couple of weeks here on the Daily Wrestling News Show. So I'm going to call Okada here, and I think it is sort of the break glass situation. Okay. However, it kind of goes like this. If Okada was meant to beat Ospreay at the end of May, then easy. You just beat Shingo, and he's off to the races as whatever title run they had planned. If not, then maybe they just have Shingo beat Okada, and then Shingo just takes whatever program Ospreay had lined up for the next year or whatever, and that's your champion. But I'll go Okada here. It's going to be a killer match. I bet you it'll go 40 minutes or so. It'll be it'll be good, especially considering these New Japan cards are only 6 matches because of the pandemic. They reduced the number of people that are involved. Okay. So it's going to be a long match.
Okay, so we actually 2 questions before I let you go, Rye. One is a comment from James. We'll throw this up here. The rumors of WWE and New Japan working together. I did read, or I saw something, half-read an article. This whole thing pretty much evolves around Daniel Bryan.
Right. So Dave Meltzer is the one who wrote it in the Wrestling Observer. He broke the news that they were working together or just talking to build some sort of relationship. Mike Johnson from PW Insider, he got the more detailed scoop in the sense that it was WWE was talking with New Japan, and they were talking about trying to get Daniel Bryan a series of dates to work in New Japan. So if people remember, Daniel Bryan's contract is expired. He's not, at least we don't know that he has a new contract anywhere. Mm-hmm. So if WWE is talking with New Japan, it could be a situation where Daniel wants to work outside of WWE, and WWE is trying to make that happen and make Daniel happen in a project that'll kind of work for both people. So that's okay. That was question 1. What's question 2, Al?
Question 2. Before we let you go, I know Impact Wrestling this Thursday night, actually last Thursday as well. Kojima came out. He's a New Japan guy. Give us some education for those who don't know who Kojima is, because he is going to be at against all odds next weekend against Joe Doring, and that is a tall order.
Literally tall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yuji Nagata is Kojima, very similar to Yuji Nagata in the sense that he's one of the New Japan active legends, right? He's in the what I always refer to as the dad group, because he's had the bulk of his career. The most success he's had is in the past at this point. He is a 2-time heavyweight champion. He has that credential to him. So he's capable of wrestling a fine match. His signature move, his finisher, is a lariat. So he can definitely hit that on Joe Doring. And hopefully Joe Doring doesn't no-sell it. So, but
that's the thing. That's
Joe Doring's a tall order. He's got Cody Deaner this week, though. I think he's going to blow right through Cody Deaner.
Yes.
And then he'll have his probably just maybe a couple of appearances with Impact. I would think they're just kind of rotating people in and out.
Now,
So-
just a quick, I guess maybe quick yes or no, if you want to just dwell on it for like a couple seconds. We're pretty good on time, I think, right now. So hypothetically, okay, so now we have New Japan guys on Impact. We saw Moxley, and Moxley's a New Japan guy. Oh,
Sure.
does that throw a wrench and everything if they start working with WWE? Now, hypothetically, is this whole thing about Daniel Bryan, or if they do start working together, is the Japan Forbidden Door shut to AEW and Impact?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it's mainly about getting Daniel Bryan in a position to work against some dream opponents that he has over there. I don't even think that they're really talking about somebody coming over from WWE or WWE restricting their movement in the States at all. However, if they start working together and they, this works out and Daniel Bryan has a good run over there, maybe relations improve or develop, and then maybe you see more down the road. That's Nick Khan is kind of pulling all the strings in WWE right now, and so it's a new face, kind of new leadership in WWE, and you never know. He's getting a lot of rope to make whatever decisions he wants, and if he thinks it'll be beneficial to have a working relationship with New Japan, then it may happen. So.
All right, well, Ryan, we're gonna cut you out early today. You can go watch AEW Dark. I believe we're on hour 6 of AEW Dark right now, so you didn't miss too much.
Right.
It's a 14-hour show. We're not about halfway through yet, so.
Yep. Luckily, they're not all Iron Man matches. So.
Yeah. No, really. We're looking at this. This is the Iron Man match. We got the announcement. We're gonna talk about that later in the show, and this is the one that you've been talking about for a while now. That has just been incredible. So, Ryan. Enjoy the rest of the night off. Make sure you give Maggie May the night off. I know she does your dark numbers for you when you're on air, so give her the night off. Maybe rub her feet for a little bit. Tell her that you love her, and you can say hi for me as well.
As I'm rubbing your feet, sure.
As you're yeah. Oh, by the way, Al says hi. Ryan, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow morning on the Daily Wrestling News Show.
You bet.
All right, so we're gonna go from Ryan to Gary. Gary, top of the evening to you, pal.
Evening, and I have to just say, I've just been looking through our minute-by-minute demographics, and the female demographics gone through the roof. Obviously, it must be Ryan and myself.
That's it. That's it. These one-on-ones with you and Ryan. That's it.
We can't help it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't know. That Ryan's wife. We don't know if we don't want to leak the female demographics out, publicly. I don't know if she's gonna like that or not. But yeah, Ryan's got a female following. I don't. And so do you guys.
That's why he's massaging her feet just to keep her on the right side.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Gary, fun week, fun night last Thursday for NXT UK as well. Main evented. Sam Gradwell in the main event. Main event, Sam Gradwell. There we go. Is this the start of something here? Or, I know he didn't get the job done, but, how about that? Trent Seven and Sam Gradwell, the founding fathers, right? Isn't that this whole thing about the founding fathers of NXT UK?
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. When Sam Gradwell came back at first, and I was like, okay, you'll get a wee bit. But he has shown me over the last couple of months, he was deserving of this main event. He really was. And as you say, obviously, Trent Seven was going over as more established or whatever, but Sam in the last month or two has shown that he can step up, and personality wise he's been tweaking the odd wee thing and he's really coming through. Say good match again, as you say, every Thursday night's always enjoyable in NXT UK, but say Trent Seven squeezed it out. So
yeah, he got the burning hammer with the win. And then the show opened. I Spy a Jersey Guy, another fun match. Nathan Frazier, our Jersey's right, Isle of Jersey's favorite country singer, UK's favorite country singer. I'll do your joke there for you. He defeated Shaw Samuels, and then Noam Dar was down there, and then he was thrown out. It was a little bit of a mess there for a second.
Yeah, you would think down the line again that it's building back to Noam Dar against Nathan Fraser, probably on an acoustic guitar and a pole match or something like that. But but it looks as if it's heading back that direction again. Which will be another fantastic match. It really would be. And it was again a good match between Shah and Nathan, but Nathan deservedly winning it. So.
Yeah, it'll probably just be a straight up wrestling match this time. I know Noam got the win over him in the rounds match. So I think maybe this is where Nathan gets to buy back victory. Just straight up wrestling match, 1-on-1. Probably Shao will come down and he'll get probably maybe chased out by Dragunov, because that's what we're leading into this Thursday afternoon or Thursday night by you. No one wasn't happy he got tossed out, and that whole thing last week or 2 weeks ago on the Supernova sessions with Lenny, the security dog, the therapy dog, and the bathrobe with the dinosaurs on it, and everything was just it was a lot of fun, and got a little heated at the end. Dragunov called Noam Dar a clown, which Noam didn't appreciate, but custody of Lenny. Oh, it's not on the line, right? So custody of Lenny Therapy dog is not on. There you go, Ryan Joy. He's throwing some jokes out there in his graphics. So I think we're in trouble here at Noam Dar here. I'm always going to pick Noam. I'm never going to bend against him. But in matches where my confidence level is high, he really needs to cheat and really needs to do something dastardly to win this match.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the only way around it is I do think Ilya will take it, or there could be a schmoz and Shah Samuels getting involved, and maybe Nathan Fraser comes out and we might have a tag team match in a couple of weeks' time, maybe. But it wouldn't. NXT UK generally doesn't go in too much for the convoluted finish, so there may well be some sort of, as I say, shenanigans involving Shah Samuels, and Dar might squeeze it out. So it could go anyway, to be honest about it. But
yeah, it actually leads into that. I'm actually thinking about this now. Nathan Fraser and Ilya Dragunov as a tag team, and Fraser goes for the tag and gets him in the back, and then then Fraser's now on the bleep stick here, and it's you can do a lot of fun stuff with Dragunov right now. I'm really enjoying him. So we got that match going. Boom, Teal Man in action again. So Teal Man's now undefeated. It was at 3-0. He got the win over Ashton Smith again with the crossface. The crossface is going to be his thing now.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It feels really bad to say that he hasn't overly impressed me yet. He came in with a really big rep, and he's not doing the sort of stuff that he would have done on the independents and other stuff when he was over here. So he's starting to show little bits of it. But again, it's one of those things where give him 5 minutes every few weeks and he'd build up and come through. So again, another kind of dominant victory for him. So you can see they're going to give him a bit more push in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and he put the crossface on after the match and tried to do the shoulder separation, what he did to the Rohan Raja. And then Oliver Carter came back. So Ali's back. He made the shots last week about the family not being there and whatnot. He was referring to Oliver Carter. And Ali came back. So I guess those two are back together for the time being. Jack Stars was approached by Pretty Deadly, who proceeded to make fun of Jack Stars. I guess that's, easy thing to do in NXT UK. So Stars has to go look for a friend. They're going to have a tag team match with Pretty Deadly. Something's happening here, though. They see, this is what Hunter's kind of just like a small thing from that segment, and then a small thing from before. I guess Stars had a run in with Sam Gradwell, I think, before Trent Seven came in. Piper's not around. Piper Niven's not around, and Jack Stars is missing. He's a little bit of a crush going here again. There's something going on that they're just like dropping. Whatever that meme is, the guy dropping the salt. It's like the smallest of drops.
Yeah, I mean, you can just say that's the one thing I love. I mean, about NXT UK, it would be easy on a 1 hour show here in the UK to go, we'll do things over 2-3 weeks and away you go. Yeah. But there is kind of like a couple of weeks or something here, a couple of weeks or something there, a couple of weeks or something slowly but surely. And I love the fact that, I remember months ago us looking back at Jack Stars and going, well, how many matches has he lost and when did he win and when did he debut? And all of a sudden now you're going, come on, Jack, you can do it, your boy. Here we go. It's like he really is. If there were fans there, I honestly think he would be coming through as a massive cult fan favorite. I really do.
Yeah, I believe I nicknamed Jack Stars. His nickname was NXT UK's resident punching bag was the nickname I gave him because he was the guy everybody came in. Yeah. And that, like you said, look it up. The handprint that Walter left on his chest in Walter's first match in NXT UK is something incredible. But yeah, it's something maybe, Piper, he's missing Piper. He's not handling it well that, Piper's not around. So, Kenny Williams, speaking of inaction, Kenny Williams defeated inaction. I don't have to have a name for it. EC3 used to do it. They used to call it the 1%er. So we'll call it that for the time being. He shaved his beard for a fresh start post Amir Jordan.
I wouldn't have shaved the beard.
No.
I don't think. No. He shaved the beard and he came out and I went, I just look like, yeah. Whereas with the beard, he had that wee bit of attitude, and he still has the attitude. But I know why he shaved it. I mean, I understand it. We're going for the whole new look, new attitude. Here I am, but I would have kept the beard personally. But again, I do think that they see something in him, and there were rumors about him going across to main NXT type of thing, but I don't see that. Maybe a year or so's time, but I think that they've got big plans for him. I think.
Yeah, they would have him win that match. That's a credible win for him. You know, whether it's Amir Jordan or not, he won a loser leaves town match. And no, you can't see. Here's the problem: you can't shave the beard during hockey playoffs. You can't do it. It's superstitious. It's super superstitious. Not even just a little stitious. It's superstitious. You can't do it. You gotta let it grow again. It worked for me last year. The Islanders got the Eastern Conference Finals. Working right now. They're doing pretty well. So, the NXT UK Women's Championship. Miko Satomura, she's challenging Kaylee Ray again. That match is not this Thursday, but the following Thursday on June 10th. So, Gary, that's going to be our highlight match to pick next week.
Yeah.
This Thursday coming up, we do have a rematch that I alluded in the beginning. Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown got the first match over Joe, that 3-1. That one is to Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown's one is to Walter. And Joe Coffey has been on the other end of Walter as well. So, Walter's kind of run through both these guys. But Joe Coffey says he owes them receipts. So I know NXT UK and Triple H, he's not as guilty as Vince McMahon for the 50-50 buyback, which is what I call it. One guy wins one night and the other guy wins whatever. He just, it's like a guy at the bar, right? I got to give him a guy a buyback. He bought me a beer. I got to give him one. So, where do you think this is going right now? I think Rampage can pull it off again.
I'm going to be controversial and go for Coffey, right? And the reason being is even when we were talking there about Noam Dar and Nathan Fraser maybe facing off, if they faced off in, say, 2-3 weeks' time and Fraser gets the win, they've got one each. If Joe Coffey beats Rampage, they've got one each. You could build a big episode where you say, okay, here are all the rubber matches. Who's going to take it? Who's going to be... So I'm going to go Gallus Boys on top, and I'm going to go for Joe Coffey.
Okay, I'll buy you on that one. Okay, I'm going to leave you going forward then. Is there anything going on about NXT UK TakeOver anywhere? It doesn't have to be Dublin, but is there any type of, maybe just at the BT Sports Studio? Like, can we do an NXT UK TakeOver here where maybe like the last man standing is, that's the final match for those two, Like, is there anything brewing that you've seen that can lead us to believe that there's maybe some type of UK takeover coming up?
There was talk because they'd put back the Dublin one again and they hoped to do it, and then all of a sudden the word was Dublin one's cancelled because they don't know when they can put on a show with fans. Obviously, there are how many fans they could do over here at the minute. But I absolutely agree. I mean, it would surprise me by the end of the summer if we haven't had a show like that. So I would say by kind of SummerSlam time that I think we'll have had some sort of big show along the lines of a takeover type.
Yeah, because they had Prelude and we're like, okay, let's just ease. Let's get that next one. Come on, let's get the big one. The SummerSlam would be absolutely great. It doesn't crowd or not. I know the UK crowd. We missed them. And they were a huge reason why, it's like the ECW. Like you tune in for the UK crowd and you stay for the wrestling. Like it's like one of those So, all right, Gary. I think that'll do it for the time being. What happened at Double or Nothing with you?
I know. Do you know what? I got up the next morning and looked at all the results and went, ugh.
Yeah.
I was convinced Anthony Ogogo would beat Cody Rhodes, but I'm with John Smith on this one. We all know Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that's it. So, Gary, thank you again for staying up with us late. I know it's late over there in Northern Ireland. Appreciate it. And we will see you next week.
Yep, I shall see you then.
All right, so we'll bring back in John Smith. We'll bring back
Finally,
in
something we can agree on. Finally.
Yeah. So, the smoothest transition we could possibly do on this show, is going from overseas UK to our beloved stateside version of NXT. And John Smith, we had a huge NXT championship match last week. Karrion Kross said he's a two-time champ. He finally got a title defense. He didn't get to defend it the first time because he was hurt while the match while getting it. So, title defense number 1, check.
Yeah, and I don't mind that it took this long for it to happen. I think world title matches should be few and far between, with more of the chase happening in the interim. The match itself was awesome. I thought that he was going to win the same way he won the first time, but it was cool that he actually choked out Finn Balor. I did not expect that, for Balor to just go out like a light and get called out with the TKO, but I expect him to get that favor returned to him later this year, somewhere, some way, somehow, because to put over Karrion Kross twice when you're the first ever Universal Champion, that really gives Kross a lot of clout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, I know we're talking about it. Maybe we can have a quick 5-minute, discussion at some point going forward, because now we have Kenny Omega, twice. We have Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and Walter. Who's losing first here? Like, some of these champions are so freaking dominant. And who the hell are going to beat these guys? And now Karrion Kross, and that's it. You look at that NXT roster, and we'll just get right into it now. Regal announced a number 1 contenders match between Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly. The winner gets Karrion Kross at In Your House next weekend. This is going to be fighting tonight. This is probably going to be the main event tonight. This match is a toss-up. I think there's an argument for each one of these guys. But the end result is none of them are beating Karrion Kross. So, let's just have fun, but maybe just put the points on this one. So, John Smith, who do you got challenging Karrion?
This is why Kross is such a great champ, because he walks that line between face and heel so well that any one of these guys can win. And, I'm not going to go with O'Reilly just because he recently had a couple shots at it. I think it's going to be Johnny, just so Kross can get him back fully for what he did a few weeks ago in Austin Theory when they gave him double knees. I will not be upset if Pete Dunne wins the match. I just think it's going to be Johnny.
No, I'm not. I don't think anybody's going to be upset at any one of these three. And actually, John Smith, I'm actually with you. Johnny's kind of the dark one here, because you go heel face with O'Reilly. That's an obvious one. Pete Dunne, he automatically, he's been out in the world title picture. He's been calling out Kross for weeks now. And when Kross hears his name, he usually responds. He doesn't like people saying his name. So I think Gargano is kind of the underdog here, enough to the point, John the Connie, where it's like he has probably a better shot than anybody. And what John said exactly right. They know each other. It's not like Gargano and Kross are strangers here. They had a thing going, and probably the greatest NXT match of all time with Karrion Kross and Austin Theory.
Exactly. Yeah, if this wasn't leading up to a takeover.
Sure. A thumbs up from John. Thanks, John Howe.
If this wasn't leading into a takeover, I probably would go with Johnny here, because you're building on the fact that he just had that match with Theory, like John Smith said and whatnot. And obviously we know we're gonna get Pete Dunne versus Karrion Kross at some point. So I'm going to go with Dunne only because, I didn't realize it for a second. Then all of a sudden I'm looking at my calendar and go, oh, yeah, there's a takeover coming up. And that sure sounds like a takeover headliner. So give me Dunne in this match, but I will not be at all upset to be wrong.
No, it's not going to be surprising. I honestly had zero idea where they're going with this. None. Yeah. All I know is
if Vegas put odds on this, they'd all be the same and they'd all be minus.
Yeah. Each one of them's got a 50-50 shot, right? That's what we need. Scott Steiner come here to break this triple third down match for us. John the Connie, the show started with a women's tag team division match. Shopper Moonheart, they got the win, and then they got their asses kicked.
Yeah. Yeah, things weren't looking good for them early on. They gave this one about 11 and a half minutes, and it was a little bit of back and forth, but a lot of Raquel being physically dominant, and it started to look bad for Shopper Moonheart, as you've dubbed them, when Ember went up for that one-arm power slam, but she managed to reverse out of it into an eclipse, and Raquel rolled out. That left poor Dakota alone to take that double team maneuver where Ember kind of hits the old Dominator and Shotzi, does a drive-by cutter, and they got the 1, 2, 3. And then, Raquel's out on the floor and she's angry, and Shotzi took a beating, banged into the plexiglass, slammed on the barricade. It was an ugly ending for a night that started out with a win. So Shotzi and Ember in bad shape at the end of this one.
Yeah, it was. I said both of them, but it was more Shotzi.
Yeah.
And you get the feeling that Ember Moon kind of tripped her way into an NXT Women's Championship match here. I get the feeling that's going to be the match at In Your House next Sunday. I'm sure something's going to happen tonight with those two. If Shotzi's out of the picture and Ember's looking for revenge, a former two-time women's champion. It's a credible opponent. It's someone that Raquel needs to beat to further the resume. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can totally see the show starting with, Shotzi in a neck brace or something, and, Ember's out for revenge. So.
Yeah.
Is Ember a two-time champ?
Yep.
Really? I know she won it after Asuka vacated it. She won it again?
I thought maybe she's not a two-time champ. She lost it to Shayna. Okay, so it was just the one time.
Yeah.
Oh, did she have it twice? I gotta look that up. Ryan. Oh my God, the one time Ryan Joy's not in studio. All right, I'll try to look it up after you guys look it up. Mercedes Martinez, she learned from her recent loss to Raquel Gonzalez last week. It's night one on her road back to the title picture, and then as she's saying that, here comes Boa ripping off Dexter Loomis. He's kind of lurking around in the back, which was really weird. Then Mercedes Martinez, she had a match. She went out. She defeated, I can't remember her name, John Smith. What was her name?
Who? Oh, Zion Ruff?
Yeah, Zion Ruff, thank you. With the air raid crash. Then post-match, here comes T and Shaw's music. They didn't come out, but all of a sudden the lights went out, and then I guess they declared Mortal Kombat. They had that palm stuff. They declared Mortal Kombat on Mercedes Martinez, so it looks like T and Shaw. That's gonna be fun. If Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez, I'd like to watch that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be pretty hard hitting. So going back to Dexter Loomis, he's still heartbroken, and he drew about it a lot. And Indy found the room, so Indy knows that she's trying to find him, but Dexter Loomis is sitting off in Stalker Land with a broken heart. But speaking of broken hearts, Johnson, this has been segue after segue. Speaking of broken hearts, Cameron Grimes, damn it! Like they always tell you, and I think he even said this too: never meet your idols.
I know, right? And we knew that it was going to be an epic situation. A lot of us thought that it would end up being a team up between the two of them in the same way like a Tully Blanchard and the Revival are doing, but it turns out that LA Knight is the guy who's going to be endorsed by DiBiase, and we got to see Cameron Grimes get his little heart broken.
Yeah,
and it was the most random face turn, the most unexpected face turn that we've ever had in professional wrestling. Somehow, Cameron Grimes just turned face by getting his heart broken by Ted DiBiase, because when you're rich, everyone loves you and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you could be the biggest jerk in the world, and as long as you're rich, everyone's gonna love you. And that's exactly what happened. And that's LA Knight. Yeah, these Cameron Grimes, that's not just an insult, that's just a fact of life, man. So going forward with that's DiBiase and LA Knight, that's gonna be fun. I think
the $1 million title.
You bring back the $1 million. That's the guy you put and that's the feud. Maybe you put it, you can have $1 million championship match. It's not sanctioned. It's not going to get title points on ProWrestlingPickup.com, but that's a fun feud for the $1 million championship. I think that would be really great. John DeConnie, you mentioned Pete Dunne earlier as your pick to be the number one contender and Karrion Kross's challenger. He had a match against the returning Bobby Fish. And I got to tell you, right in my notes, the first thing I wrote down or I typed up is, man, did I miss Bobby Fish?
Yeah, because these two put on a 12-minute clinic. Holds and reversals and joint manipulation and stretching and countering back and forth. And none of us were, too shocked to see Pete Dunne win it. He would eventually, Bobby would grapple him into a face-down armbar that Dunne stood up out of. A very nice reversal because he stood up right basically into a pump handle, which allowed him to hit the bitter end for the win. But this one was, all about, it was giving us 12 minutes of goodness, but it was all about the post-match where Oney Lorcan, who had been, lurking outside the ring, jumped on Bobby Fish afterwards and stood on and stretched that surgically repaired the arm and the surgically repaired triceps muscle. And I'm assuming we're going to see those two lock it up somewhere down the line, not too far in the future.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be fun, Oni and Bobby. I am actually just looking up right now. According to Wikipedia, Ember Moon is a one-time champion. She won the vacated championship after Asuka left and for greener pastures on SmackDown and Raw. She won the Fatal 4-Way, which is one of my favorite matches in TakeOver history. I think it was Kairi Sane, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, and maybe Nikki Cross. I think it was a little fun. It was a lot of fun, that Fatal 4-Way, and then she ended up losing to Shayna Baszler.
I remember that one. I think I had Nikki Cross in that one. Once
I
again,
Peyton Royce all the way. I've been the biggest Peyton Royce fan for God knows how many years. I was going nuts in that match rooting for her. Anyway, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, they're coming for Grizzled Young Veterans, and they're going to enjoy it. Meanwhile, Grizzled Young Veterans, they replied with they owed Ciampa and Thatcher a receipt, and they're done with them. So, Grizzled Young Veterans, they got the last shot in, and they want nothing more to do with Ciampa and Thatcher. But that's just not going to be what happens.
Just don't see it working out.
We got Thatcher throwing chairs now in the backstage interviews, and yeah, there's going to be a problem. Frankie Monet, she had her world premiere. She defeated Cora Jade with the Widow's Peak and fun thing. So my beautiful bride, the one thing she hated about Ty Valkyrie in Impact was the earmuffs, the gigantic earmuffs. So we didn't watch it. We've been watching a lot of hockey. I've been watching wrestling live. But I told her, I'm like, babe, good news. Taya is not wearing the earmuffs anymore. She's like, thank God. But she's got these puffy things on her shoulders. And I showed her the robe that she was wearing where the poofy balls are like this freaking big. Completely dwarfed any earmuff she's ever worn in her entire life. So kudos to Frankie Monet for one-upping herself from Impact.
It was like earmuffs for her body.
What's that?
That was like earmuffs for her body.
Yeah, exactly. And continuing just to annoy my wife just with her entrance gear. Walter is pissed. He booted Wolf, and Bartel and Eichner need to get their bleep together. Breezango was going to be up first. I don't know if that match is going to be tonight or not, but Breezango was the one that took the tag team championships from Imperium. So Walter is now ordering that Breezango goes down first at the hands of Imperium. Bronson Reed, he was out there celebrating his North American Championship. John Smith, do you like this? He was interrupted by Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma. So I believe this is where we're going first for Bronson Reed's North American Championship.
Yeah, it looks like Bronson Reed is just a stopgap for that title on its way to Santos Escobar.
So he's a little out of Santos' weight class, but okay, but Mexico is in North America, so Santos wants that championship, that is a part of him, because that country is on that belt. He wants it. He runs the bingo, I believe was his quote, which is great. He runs the bingo, out of bingo. Santos
apparently he says that a lot.
Yeah, I maybe just haven't caught on it. And then they had the 3-on-1 attack, which was thwarted. I know, John DeConnie, you just mentioned joint manipulation. It was thwarted by MSK, So we actually have the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the match that Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin, and Raul, they earned this. They are going to be going up against our undefeated champions. Most likely in the main event. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be the main event. I guess the number one contenders match. So this will be the top of the hour at 9 o'clock probably tonight. John DeConnie, who do you got in this one?
Yeah, different kind of joint manipulation, but yeah, I get what you're oh God, this one's a coin flip for me. I think MSK still hold on here, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see it go to Legado. But I'm gonna go with MSK here.
All right, John Smith, who you got? You got new champ. We just crowned a new champion on free TV 2 weeks ago. Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it again. It's gonna be kind of quick on the draw here.
No, I don't see it happening. I would love them to do it though. I'd like to see one of these belts like flip around a little bit, especially because especially this belt, the tag team belt, because their division is so stacked and so even that it's plausible for all these guys to just like win and lose, and it's not going to really diminish anybody in the process.
No, this is the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys, and APA, and there's new tag team champions every week during the Attitude Era, and it was just like,
Cool.
they're all great. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh my God, Edge and Christian got this. Yeah, so that's very good. So that will do it for NXT tonight. Always looking forward to that show. We will try to be done. We should be done in about 15 minutes. It's fair. We've been doing pretty good on time lately. We're going to go to Impact, who used to run the night. Now they own Thursday nights. And John DeConnie, the show opened. Sami Callihan with an in-ring promo. He called Kenny Omega a chicken. Now, where I come from, those are fighting words.
Indeed.
So Sami's going on here. Moose came out instead, told Sami to stay out of his business because he gets Kenny's first. Then here comes the Good Brothers. Praise the Lord, praise Moose. They were trying to butter up Moose, and Moose did not fall for it. He decked them, and then we got a tag team match that main evented the show, John DeConnie, and they just couldn't.
Yeah, they just. Sometimes folks just can't get along, and they did not work well together from the start. Where, the one time that I think they did, tag each other in, it was a tag in the form of a flare chop. Sami delivered to Moose. And then Sami would blind tag himself back in later, once again pissing off Moose because Moose was setting up for spear. And then Moose just flat out front kicked Sami dead in the face. When Sami was getting ready to deliver his pile driver, then Sami kicked Moose off the apron and turned around right into Karl Anderson spine buster. And, it was that old recipe, the magic killer, and a 1-2-3 for Sami to lose. And that's not where the night ended for him either, because he would get a lights-out spear just for good measure and reminded by Moose to stay out of his business.
But on Thursday night, it's Moose has a little bit more business to go to. It looks like they're going to get at it, according to minutesofbelltime.com. I did not know this was booked up until maybe a couple hours ago. But John DeConnie, just stay with it right now. Who do you got?
Maybe we get some outside interference because the Good Brothers are pissed that Moose didn't side with them last week. But if this one just stays between those two in the ring, I think Moose continues to roll towards that title shot.
John Smith.
Moose.
All right, we just finally got confirmed. It took James Wheeler an hour, but he's not in the Central Wrestling Podcast pool, so maybe you should, James. He seems to be pretty good on this, but we just want to throw this out here right now. I deleted the graphics. Maybe we can put them up here. Like, none of us are winning the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool. A gentleman by the name of Jushin Liger, and I don't know if it's the Japanese Hall of Famer, the WWE Hall of Famer, Jushin Thunder Liger, but none of us are winning right now. So, amongst us, John Smith is winning. He has a belt, but we're all bowing down to Jushin Thunder Liger right now. But I digress. I'm gonna go Moose as well. If he's got Kenny Omega in a week, he might as well beat Sami Callihan, right?
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, but this Impact. Impact's going to impact. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Taylor Wilde has gone missing, and Tennille has no idea where she is because, of course, Tennille's not her tag team partner.
Yeah.
She is just amazing. I love Tennille Dashwood so much. Rachel Elling wants Jordan to fill in the 10-man or 10 knockout tag match, and he'll rip it off AEW. And so that's why Jordan wasn't originally in the match, so that she could fill in for Taylor Wilde, who apparently has gone missing. And you can almost tell that Jordan Grace was going to go full Dakota Kai at War Games in this one. It didn't end up happening, but you saw Dakota Kai turning around and seeing Tegan, and then there's a little smile on her face for Dakota to just put a boot right into it. But you can see it coming, John McCartney.
Yeah, and this is why I'm really having trouble with the Knockouts division right now, because that match, Jordan was conspicuous by her absence to begin with. Then Jordan got added to it because Taylor Wilde went missing for some reason. We have no idea what that's about.
John, she's not Tennille's partner. She doesn't know where she is.
That's a good point. But so now Jordan's kind of pissed off at being an afterthought in this match. So you assume somewhere in this match, Jordan's either going to, go crazy and dominant and win the match, or she's going to lose the match and then freak out. The absolute last outcome I would have ever expected in this match is Deonna takes a pin.
Yeah, right.
And that's what happened when Rosemary hit a wing clipper. I don't know what she calls it, but basically it's a wing clipper.
Yeah.
And pinned the Knockouts champion. I don't know what they're doing, but once again, the caveat always exists. Impact on Impact.
Yeah, and that's twice Rosemary's gotten her now. So she got her with the wing clipper. Meanwhile, Fire and Flavor and Susan and Kipper, they were fighting each other. They were all teammates with Deonna. They were all killing each other on the outside. So Deonna got left hung out to dry. So Deonna's pissed as all hell because that's 2 pinfalls she's eaten now from Rosemary. That match was booked for Against All Odds, and she had that look. She had that look, guys. Deonna has that look, and we have told you, if you learn anything from this podcast, do not piss off a Jersey girl. It will come back to haunt you tenfold, and that is what Rosemary has done.
Yeah.
Piss off our most technical wrestler, and Rosemary is going to get stretched next Saturday night. Add to this match with this somehow, I guess I have it wrote down as Under Siege Backlash, as Jordan and Rachel are getting their rematch for the Tag Team Championship against Fire and Flavor. John Smith, you want hot potato with the belt. This has kind of been doing that. It's done it once or twice, but Jordan and Rachel didn't have it for all that long before they lost it back to Fire and Flavor. Do you think they get it back?
No, this is happening this Thursday.
This Thursday. It's called Impact Backlash.
You know what? I guess we're gonna. I guess we're gonna get the heel turn this Thursday. I'm thinking then.
That's
right?
Johnny, is this it?
Yeah. Otherwise, what did they do to earn this match? So I'm assuming that's what this is here for them to lose one more time.
Impact still has the rematch clause in their contracts. I don't know if you want if you go on ImpactWrestling.com in their legal department, their contracts all have rematch clauses in it.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, and Deonna Purrazzo's her barista, whatever the coffee guy, he makes those contracts. So we had an injury update on Matt Cardona. He suffered a fractional orbital bone after Brian Myers threw him into the camera last week or 2 weeks ago. So he's out 12 weeks with a broken orbital bone. Does anyone see the irony in this?
Of course, this is leading to.
It's going to lead to another eye for an eye match with Cardona and Myers. This is not. All right, so Impact's resident inaction guy accidentally interrupted Myers, but instead of slapping those ugly tattoos off his body for doing so, Myers decided to teach him to become professional. So it looks like Brian Myers is taking this guy that I believe was in Trey Miguel's gym. Looks like Myers is going to take him under his wing and teach him to be professional. But I should slap those tattoos off.
Now, does that mean he's actually going to tutor this guy, or is he going to get in the ring and beat the hell out of him?
I don't know. I think he's going to teach him to cheat. I think this is how you be professional. You thumb the guy in the eye.
Because poor Sam Beal had already lost, earlier in the day to Eddie Edwards. He got himself invited to the Boston Knee Party on BTI last week. So, this could wind up being a great week for Sam Beal. He gets a mentor, or he just gets another ass whooping.
So Violent by Design, our new tag team champions, Eric Young, he reintroduced us to the whole squad. Eric Young makes sure we know who they are and where they come from and why they're in Violent by Design. And the wrestling world would be theirs. And then here comes Kojima that I spoke with Ryan Joy about. So here comes Kojima from New Japan. He's the newest crossover from the Forbidden Door. First it was Finjuice, then it was El Phantasmo, and now we got Kojima. And he watched Joe Doring. Apparently him and Joe Doring have this history, but he picked a fight with the biggest dog in Violent by Design. I do have a match for it, but this Thursday night before we get to Joe Doring at Against All Odds, he's got Diener. So John DeConnie, you gonna give Diener a shot here? I mean, he said we got to build up something going into the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, poor Diener. He's just going to be the guy who gets us introduced into how Kojima looks in the ring, and he'll take a loss. Kojima will roll on a winning streak into the pay-per-view to face Joe Doring.
John Smith.
I agree, and let me just say that drawing of Kojima was awesome.
Yes, that's probably the best drawing that I Draw Wrestlers has done for us so far. Very well done. I'll put that back up. Very well done.
Spot on.
Yeah, look at the detail. Absolutely incredible. Decay, Tarus and Crazy Steve, they got the win over Johnny Swinger and Hernandez. That's just a lovely tag team, Swinger and Hernandez. After a leaping DDT off the middle turnbuckle by Crazy Steve on Swinger. Small interaction between Decay and Violent by Design on Decay's way to the ring. So after Kojima came and interrupted Violent by Design's promo, they went in the back. Decay did it to them too. So we're kind of looking towards, and I know Joe Doring is going to have a match against Kojima and Against All Odds, but are we going like Freebird rules here? Are we going to get Decay versus Rhino and Diener for the tag titles maybe at Against All Odds? So to be continued with that, they had a sit-down interview with Morrissey, W. Morrissey, and he reiterated that he's pissed and angry at the fans in the wrestling industry. And then Swan got the receipt on him. Swan jumped in from behind this time during the interview, just like Morrissey did to Rich Swann a couple of weeks prior. So it looks like that's going to Against All Odds. We got a big match coming up on Thursday. We have a tables match between Jake Something and Rohit Raju. Potential PWI feud of the year here, John Smith.
100%.
That's what I thought. They're gonna start it with a tables match. I'm sure this is gonna be a year-long feud.
Yeah, I got Rohit winning this one with the help of Shira.
All right, John DeConnie, I believe tables were involved to set up this match. I'm not remembering a couple of weeks ago what exactly happened.
Yeah, Shira was speared through a table after Rohit's match with Jake Something, and that leads us to this one. Rohit's. We're gonna do your kind of match. This is a tables match. This is in your ballpark. But I think Rohit takes it here because he's Rohit.
Yeah, that was when Rohit was yelling emphatically for Jake Something to not do it from the top of the ramp, and Jake Something just doesn't listen. He just doesn't listen. Typical man, doesn't listen. Yeah, I'm going Rohit Raju on this one, 100%. TJP and Fallah Bahh, they got the win against Josh Alexander and Petey Williams after a Samoan drop by Fallah Bahh into the Mama Splash by TJP on Josh Alexander. So TJP got the pinfall on Josh Alexander, the X Division champion. So it's going to be a leak over match. They had a discussion in the back, Josh Alexander and TJP. TJP wants the X Division championship. Josh Alexander granted him the match, and I think Scott D'Amore was the one that made it an Iron Man match.
Yep.
So they're going to start the Iron Man match on their pre-show. It's called BTI, which I think stands for Being the Elite, before Impact. And then the end of the match will start Impact. So I'm assuming maybe they will probably maybe about the 10 or 15 minutes left in the Iron Man match will be leaked into the main Impact show starting at 8 o'clock. But if anybody watches the Daily Wrestling News Show, we are all co-hosts on it, and Ryan Joy has been adamant about a leaked Iron Man match that is probably the greatest match. Like, this is a potential, with all seriousness, I know joking around with Rohit Raju and the PWI, but this is legitimately could be, according to Ryan Joy and his sources, this could be the match of the year candidate, because apparently this match is, as the kids say nowadays, off the chains. So, John Smith, who do you got in this one?
I got Josh Alexander retaining. This is his time. He's showing us exactly who he is, and he's going to win this one. Is it going to be an hour long? Do you know?
60 minutes.
All right, good, because I hate those 30-minute Iron Man matches. Those aren't Iron Man matches.
Yeah, especially when they only wrestle for 25 of them. I think didn't Jordan and Deanna's Iron Man match only get like 25 minutes and not 30?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to. I think it's going to end up like 6-5 or something like that. Lots of falls. It's going to be really exciting, and I can't wait to see it.
Okay, John DeConnie.
Yeah, I agree with John Smith. I think Josh Alexander's. We're really getting to see just how complete a wrestler he is now in his singles run, and I see no reason why his X Division title run should end here.
Yeah, I'm going to think like Impact here for a second. If this was normal, whatever, I'm going to go Josh Alexander, but you just get the feeling that this is going to end in a tie, and they're going to have to finish it at against all odds. So I'm calling like a 4-4 tie here, and they're not. Yeah, all right, just give them a break. We'll put them in another sudden death overtime. Kind of like remember they did that with the NXT Championship on that Super Tuesday and ended in tie. Yeah. We'll finish it next week. Like, oh, what the hell? So maybe that's where I'm getting this idea from. Right? But I'm just trying to think more Impact-ish. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of thinking the tie here. We'll go with the tie. So. Excuse me. That will do it for Impact. And we're going to go finally get to WWE here. We have two WWE shows. We're going to start with Raw first because SmackDown has the two huge championship matches. James Wheeler, I forgot to hold on. He's chiming in with a question. Impact Wrestling is turning 19 years old on the 19th. All right, there we go. That's a nice little fun little fact right there from James. And James wants to know, Don Callis said 4 belts are not enough. IWGP and NWA are next. I think he'd smoke freaking Nick Aldis. I think the IWGP, that's the belt that's going to be tough for him to get. But I think he'd smoke Nick Aldis in like 5 seconds.
Well, Ryan's brought up multiple times that he doesn't have to go after the big one for IWGP. John Moxley's got that big red beauty over his shoulder, and it's right there in Jacksonville. So we could see that before too long, and I wouldn't mind that a bit.
I see. I disagree with Ryan on that one. I think I think Omega has to go for the big belts. Then what is he going to do? Freaking go collect, the Cruiserweight Championship? He's going to go to NXT and challenge Kushida? This is not... No, he's a big... No, who's other belts are beneath him? No, he wants the big dogs. So. That's what you want to chime in your opinion on that one?
Then maybe Ring of Honor, he might end up grabbing that one. Or, I mean, when I first heard that they vacated the title over in Japan, that was my first thought. It's Kenny goes over there, gets there for like 2 weeks, wins it and loses it, and then comes back. And then, that way he'll have had like the 5 belts at one point.
All right, so speaking of heavyweight championships, the one championship that Kenny Omega will not get his hands on is the WWE Championship, currently held by Bobby Lashley. There was a match last night, John DeConnie, to determine his challenger for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, we had Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston running it back after they could not quite get a finish last week. And this time, MVP and Bobby Lashley were banned from ringside under threat of 90-day suspension with no pay. So they hung out backstage in a very comfortable room in front of a TV, a couple of nice ladies around. They had no problem with that. And meanwhile, Drew and Kofi, danced for 22 plus minutes, and I really got to give credit to Drew McIntyre. He's a guy that before this run, I'm not breaking any ground here to say he's had an amazing year and a half, But before this run, I didn't, I could take him or leave him. I didn't really have any feel for him. He has put on some fantastic matches with the big guys. The big guys slapping each other around. Those have been some beautiful, ballets of violence. And then he went out and did 22 minutes with Kofi, flying around, and that was equally as enjoyable. So he really has moved to that next level of. Not that I ever thought he couldn't put on a good match with anyone, but he's putting on, noticeably excellent matches in different styles, different sizes. And the way he ended this one, Kofi goes up to the buckle for some sort of aerial attack, and McIntyre lands an elevated Claymore that, Moose has that drop kick where he goes 8 feet in the air and kicks somebody off the top rope, but this was right up there with that. And, the people who are, get higher than anyone else in the world, like, RVD and Riddle. I mean, he was way up there in the clouds, and he landed that Claymore. He got the 1, 2, 3. Then Lashley came out in front of the Tron, held up the belt, and, fade to black. That's where we're going for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, so that's in 3 weeks, right? I believe that's actually on Father's Day.
Yeah, 20.
The Miz was eaten by zombies, and he tore his ACL, and he's back doing his talk show. Like, how incredible of an athlete is this guy? Like, unbelievable. So he had Miz TV. So he had Miz TV with Johnny Trip Trip and all of his moist puns. I can't remember them all. They're absolutely hysterical. He had Charlotte on, and then he had Rhea and Nikki Cross. And here we go again with these 2-minute challenges. Nikki wants, she wants the winner of Charlotte and Rhea because she beat Rhea, and now she has an even bigger gripe because, she beat Charlotte, I guess, technically. Well, she didn't get beat, so I guess she won the match, which is, this is crazy how Nikki Cross is getting title matches here. I think she'd probably be the greatest wrestler of all time if every wrestler, had the wrestler. You can only beat me in 2 minutes. If not, I win. That's. So Nikki Cross in the title picture, good for her. John Smith, the Raw Tag Team Championships were on the line. Didn't see. Okay, I was just kidding. Okay, the Miz.
That was an itchy trigger finger. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't even mention the Miz again. I'm off that show. Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. This was weird. I didn't see this coming. I didn't expect it. It all turns out is because Elias doesn't want to travel on the road with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the real reason is they want to turn Elias face so everybody will sing with them in the crowd once they're back into the arenas.
Yeah,
and I think this is a good way for them to do it. They set it up, beforehand with, Elias trying to talk to Jackson Riker. Have you ever been in combat or something like that? Or I don't remember what terminology he used, and he was like, I served in Iraq. Have you ever been in combat? And then Elias decided to pull away from the tag when they were doing your standard jump for the tag at the end of the match. Riker gets hung up to dry by Omos. We get the 1, 2, 3 after Styles. No, not after Styles, but after the phenomenal forearm. And then later on in the show, we get the backstage interview with Elias explaining to us that he does not want to have to be around the guy that's such a loose cannon. So I think we're going to get like a PTSD angle with Jackson Riker, and I'm really looking forward to it because he's got a good look to him, and he's like Disciples of Apocalypse 24 years later.
Yeah, there you go. John Smith, we're going to stick with you. Randy Orton and Xavier Woods. I guess first things first. The first question I ask you. Okay, so the New Day. First of all, it's a new month. Yes, it is. Happy new month. But the Power Rangers. So they're doing Power Rangers now. Go New Day. Go Mighty Morphin New Day Rangers. I guess. Are you? Here we go, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ripping off Voltron. Are you on Team Voltron here? Am I the only one that was just like this is such a ripoff? Like,
I never watched Voltron. I don't even know what Voltron is. So I was a Power Rangers kid. It came out a little bit too late for me, but I still liked it a little bit. The Green Ranger was the best Ranger before he turned into the White Ranger.
Amy Jo Johnson, come on. John the Connie.
Oh, yeah. Well, Pink Ranger was
way.
definitely all of our crushes growing up. But
Yeah.
no.
John the Connie, Voltron or Power Rangers?
I'm actually, you got to remember, I'm the old man here. I'm a Battle of the Planets guy. So I think that kind of leans towards Voltron because it kind of was one and the same. But yeah, so I'm definitely not a Power Rangers guy.
Yeah, so Voltron, it was 5 robotic lions that, form Voltron. So right now, this is the ongoing joke. I have 4 cats. I need 1 more, and I can start training them just in case we get attacked by robies. But yeah, Amy Jo Johnson. How could the Pink Power Ranger not be your favorite Power Ranger? Unbelievable. She's Canadian too. John Smith. Anyway, back to reality. Randy Orton.
The Green Ranger had his own Zord. He didn't even need the things to piece together. That's the whole point. He had the whole thing to himself. But yeah, no.
Andre Thomas is with me on this one. That's it. So you never want to move.
I'm not old enough for Voltron. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fair. Next time you go over, we'll watch Voltron.
Is DVRs, and we weren't buying videotapes of that back then. But Randy versus Woods, aka Randy Wood, was a very good segment. It didn't go as long as Riddle and Woods went last week, but deservedly so because Randy's 5 levels above Riddle right now. Yeah. Ended with the Bro Derek, or do we call it the RKO Derek, or what do we call that? But he gave us a little. He gave Riddle a little wink before he did it. So. But I like seeing this side of Randy. It's cool. It's like a mentor thing, and then eventually he's going to snap and RKO him. But I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah, well, we've seen this before. He even said it. If he can't beat him, join him, and then when they least expect it, screw him. There you go. So this is gonna be fun. Yeah, but yeah, Riddle popped for the Bro Derek. That was great. That's fun. John the Connie, 2 for 1 here. I don't think we've ever seen in the history of Raw someone get Raw rolled up twice in back-to-back matches. This was unprecedented.
Yeah, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer fella. We had Sheamus, come down to the ring and grab the mic. He was very, very angry that Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo took turns last week, working their finishers on him after a match. And he said, while he wasn't ready to go, a handicap match and take them on 2-on-1, he would take them on 1-on-1, back-to-back, both in, basically the same segment. So he starts out with Ricochet, and they're having a nice little match. It's not even 90 seconds into it. Humberto Carrillo's music hits, and that's enough to distract Sheamus, and Ricochet hits the Raw roll-up. We go to commercial. We come back. It's Humberto Carrillo's chance. Sheamus gets his nose broken in the middle of this match with a vicious forearm strike from Carrillo. So that made the match go a little bit longer because Sheamus wanted to get some lumps in back. So this one, approached the 5-minute mark. But Ricochet's right there at ringside the whole time. And, just a little bit of a, hey, how you doing from him. And once again, that's enough for Sheamus to fall victim to the Raw roll-up. And, now do we get a 3-way for the U.S. title somewhere down the line? Are we ever going to get a U.S. title defense? I don't know. But Sheamus, not a happy fella.
No, he's not a happy fella. See, here we go. You were saying this and thinking, like, this is what Kenny Omega was trying to do. And it was a good thing that Kenny Omega didn't do this, because if he had Pac one and then Cassidy, well, he would have lost both of them. And so instead, he just fight them both at the same time, beat them both at the same time. There you go. Sheamus trying to rip off Kenny Omega. Who'd have known? Fast forward the rest of Raw real quick so we can get into SmackDown and get off air sometime for NXT. Reginald defeated Shayna Baszler with the Raw Roll. There we go. Roll up strikes again. After a fire shot up from the ring post. So this is happening again. She knows it's Alexa Bliss. So long story short, Alexa's Playground was in the back. She wanted Reginald on. That didn't last long. Shayna went full schoolyard bully, threw Reginald off the swing yard step, and took the swing from him. That was, I've seen that since I was 5 years old. That was actually pretty funny. That's some flashbacks. Told Alexa that they need to talk before this whole thing gets out of hand, and then told Lily that she was a stupid doll. So this should be interesting going forward with those two. I really like where this is going. The War Raiders were giving Mansoor some tips for when WWE gets back on the road. Mustafa Ali chimed in saying, "Don't trust anybody," a mantra that we've all loved when our beloved Rattlesnake was saying it. So to be maybe Mustafa Ali and Mansoor, that's a fun little feud going right there. I would like that. Mason T-Bar, they defeated Lucha House Party after a double sit down choke slam. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke defeated Naomi and Lana after a leaping neck breaker Samoan drop double team. That was, if they ever practice that and that looks smooth, that's actually going to look cool as hell. So I actually good job by Mandy and Dana on that one. And then Cedric Alexander, he once again defeated Shelton Benjamin. After another thumb to the eye, followed by the Neuralizer. I pop for Shelton's music. It's so good. You know what? I want him to, at some point in time, to go back. Ain't no stopping me now. I love that, but I think I like this more, so I'd rather keep it like that. Now we're going to go to the main event of our show today. Hold on, we've got Andre Thomas chiming in. I'm on record for hating Alexa Playground. There we go. Just a stupid doll. There we go. All right, there we go. And then he also chimed in, needs to stop working. Sheamus needs to stop working with Humberto. Too many injuries between them two. I guess fair is fair. Going into last Friday night on SmackDown. There we go. We'll change the logo right there up to the blue brand. We started off, Jimmy Uso was amped for his tag team match with Jay. Their first match in over a year together. They want to get those tag titles back. They want to make the family proud. Roman even wished them luck. Kinda. Usos get into the ring. Street Profits were already in there. Fun little jaw jacking back there. I have it written down. Some great exchanges of verbiage. So I thought that by both teams. And then they commenced duel, John Smith.
Yes, so the Street Profits played the part of inaction. They didn't even get their entrance. That was a little weird. But it was all about the Usos, and I was pumped for this match. I haven't seen an Usos match in over we haven't seen an Usos match in over a year, and they're my favorite tag team of all time, as you know. They went 20 minutes. I was not expecting this to be a clean ending. I thought that Roman Reigns was going to get involved, or maybe Jay would hop off the apron, Elias style, or something. But they looked awesome. They looked clean, like they never missed a step, and they won the match. And now Jimmy went back there and asked for a tag team match this week for the titles, and he got it.
Yeah, so Usos with the win. They went to Postman Pierce. They're gonna get it next week, so we'll just pick it right now, and then I'll go. Hold on, I'm losing my grab here. There we go. I need Ryan's space whatever thing to get me off. The ums and the uhs, whatever that machine is. So Roman had a heart-to-heart with Jey Uso, though. After all this was booked, he doesn't want Jay to go back to where people say, which one are you? And that is such a huge thing that was at the beginning of this whole thing with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns when they were fighting in the cell last year and everything, and that was Jay's big thing. He did not want, he hated that people had to go, went up to him, which one are you? And it drove him nuts. And shout out to Roman. That's exactly how this is not going to end well, John Smith. For Jimmy.
Yeah, shout out to Roman too, because this is like the most perfect character for him. This little Roman where he's doing this head of the table thing, he plays it so well. I don't see the Usos winning this match though. I think something is going to happen now with the Dynasty family in this match to make it not happen. Maybe Roman's going to guilt Jay into even not showing up to the match.
Yeah, and actually, John the Con actually skipped over the fact that the Mysterios defeated Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler at their sunset roll-up from Dominic on Roode. I'll do it for you. They just reversed what happened at Backlash, where at this time Ray was out and Dom had to fight alone, and he still got the job done. So, who do you got going forward in the Usos and the Mysterios? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think the Mysterios retain here. There's something along the lines of what John Smith said is going to happen. Whether if Jay doesn't come out at all or Jay walks away mid match, something like that, Jimmy's going to get hung out to dry here, and the Mysterios will retain.
Well, I completely concur. John the Con, I'm not going to skip over this one on you. All right, Andre Thomas, he is on the Minutes to Bell Time threads. Andre, glad that you're watching. Glad that you're chiming in. We're looking for BJ Pavinkin. Where's BJ? Because our benevolent king, Kingsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style, along with Eric Boobs playing him to the ring again. He had a match with Chad Gable, John the Con. I got more Chad Gable, the better.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Otis tried to sway this one early on by jumping Nakamura before the bell. But Nakamura recovered, and they went back and forth a little bit. It was only a 2-minute match, but it was just long enough to allow Corbin to steal the crown off of the timekeeper's desk or what have you. Shinsuke would eventually hit the Kinshasa for the win, and Corbin was 3/4 of the way up the ramp with his crown, and Mr. Boogs, he almost got away, but Mr. Boogs knocked him back down right towards Shin, who eventually would leave with not only the 1-2-3 victory, but he would get back his crown.
His crown. BJ's got to be. I don't know if BJ has hair or not. I've never seen a picture of him, but he's got to be pulling whatever it is out trying to get that crown back every week. It's actually good fun. Well done. Bianca Belair, she defeated Carmella with the kiss of death. Bayley then jumped up on after calling out Michael Cole, which was absolutely hysterical for botching Bianca Belair's name. Good job by Bayley. But then just started laughing her ass off at Bianca, and Bianca almost looked uncomfortable with it. It was actually kind of funny that it was really like she kind of got like shamed. Like she's like, "Oh my god, like why is she laughing at me?" Like she couldn't beat Carmella. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Natalya and Tamina, they had a non-title match. They defeated the Riot Squad with a Superfly Splash on Ruby. Good to see the Riot Squad back. They can't. Goddamn, it's such a good showing at WrestleMania 2. They need to get going. Those two. Come on, Liv. And then Seth Rollins with yet another incredible suit. Did an in-ring promo on his birthday. There you go. Happy birthday to Seth. He blamed us for brainwashing Cesaro into believing he's better than he actually is. Way to twist that. Very good, Seth Rollins. I tell you what, it's amazing the SmackDown Raw thing. Like, why can't this happen on Raw? I don't get it. But if Cesaro never steps foot in the ring again, it's going to be on us, the fans, for shooting up Cesaro after 1 year. Kudos. John Smith, before we get into picking the Intercontinental Championship match, a quick recap of what happened last week.
Yeah, we got about 1 minute of a Intercontinental title match because Kevin Owens hit a quick stunner and then got hit with the Nigerian nail right through his neck. Or where does that even hit? The neck? The
throat?
Temple? Like, I don't even know.
Throat.
All right. So, yeah, that's really all you got. Aziz got involved, so now Kevin Owens requested that Aziz be banned from ringside, and Adam Pearce was happy to oblige, so we get it again this week. No Aziz.
All right, and I believe he got the match. Yeah, he said he got stunned, so Owens would have had it if it wasn't for Aziz. So, John Smith, are you going to think we got a new champion this week, or how's Apollo going to pull it off?
No new champion, possibly a third member of his crew that we've never met before, or he just goes and, cheats himself to win. But he's definitely that type of heel champion right now where he's a cheat to win kind of guy. So I don't see him winning clean, but he's winning it.
Is there such a thing as a SmackDown roll-up, John the Connie?
God, I hope not, but...
That's just the fruit roll-ups and catering.
Yeah.
Well, I think John Smith is 100% correct here. This is there'll be some kind of debauchery or some kind of just ridiculousness that allows Apollo to retain here.
I like to
That
see some
ridiculous's
bots.
name is Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah.
So that will do it for this episode 56 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Real quick before we go, the Primetime Rundown. Where we go? There we go. Primetime Rundown, powered by StreamYard with Joey Jarzinka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca, is now airing at 6 p.m. on Friday nights as they take you through the wide world of sports right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. Tune in to the Daily Wrestling News Show every Monday through Thursday and sometimes on Fridays at 10 a.m. to get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts, also right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. The Body Slam Brigade newsletter, over 4,200 subscribers receive this weekly column. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats' new album, Free Cake, dropped this past Friday. Yep, I still have not done my notes. This dropped back in November, but they are the official group of the Eastern Observer. They play all of the music here on all of our shows, so make sure you go to all of these platforms and download the new album by the Black Cats NYC, and it is called Free Cake. And as always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. Next week, we will be back on air, 6 p.m. Tuesday nights, episode 57 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We got about 15 minutes before NXT begins. John DeConnie, any last parting words?
I just want to simply mention that finally Impact or the powers that be at Access TV have put on a commercial to balance out the Nugenix Total T. So keep your eyes out for Sarah Vital.
Really? Oh, okay. I'm going to have to watch out for that one. John Smith, anything from your side? King Kong Bundy.
All I'm going to say is do not miss BTI on Thursday. I think that that Iron Man match is going to be pretty epic, and we're going to all be talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I wish I could see it live. I have to watch it on replay. I got to defend New York on Thursday night, so that's where I will be. Gentlemen, thank you so much for everybody watching on all of our platforms. If you're on YouTube, give that like button, hit the like button, the subscribe button. I'm getting into the cryptocurrency thing, and I'm watching these videos. And apparently, if you hit the like button, it helps our algorithm. I don't know what that means, but it sounds positive, and we would appreciate it if you guys did that. So thank you very much for watching. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, always in our hearts. Glad to see you back on TV this week. They had a great fundraiser for Larry Steve's birthday last week on Instagram, which turned out to be a major success. So great job. Forever in our hearts, Larry Steve. Tegan! The hell's taking you so long?
Where are you?
God damn it.
Where are you?
Today. John DeConnie, take it home.
Thanks for joining us, and as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Leia Lawrence Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 56.